Right, it's time now for business, and that means checking in with our team at the World Economic Forum in Davos, where political, humanitarian and business leaders mingle in the snowy Swiss Alps. Well, our business editor, Kate Moody, is standing by. Good morning, Kate.
Hi, Rochelle. Well, a lot of people it's here on day 3 of Davos, still talking about that speech by the French President Emmanuel Macron, which he gave on Wednesday evening. Perhaps the most surprising part was that he chose to give half of that address in English before reverting back to French. He tried a light-hearted style that did earn him some laughs, but returned to those roots with an earnest and rather in-depth look at the changes he's planning for the French economy, also his vision for Europe and the globe as a whole, talking about why cooperation is key for the future. Now, Donald Trump's advanced troops have been already spreading a very different message. Those first members of the American delegation began their events on Wednesday as well, promoting and defending the America First vision, which does rather clash with the traditional embrace of globalization that we usually see here. The Secretary of Homeland Security even actually defended the assessment of the president's rather crude remarks about a number of countries earlier this month, saying that it had been falsely framed as a comment about countries rather than a discussion about immigration and individuals. Now, the president himself will be arriving in Switzerland later on this morning. He'll have a couple of bilateral meetings here in Davos with the prime ministers of Israel and the UK before having some talks with a number of European business leaders. Now, to talk a little bit more about all the events of the day, I'm joined by Sami Rahal, CEO of Deloitte France. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, you've been with Emmanuel Macron for a lot of this week. Do you think he managed to strike the right balance as he talked about the future of France and of Europe?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he delivered an excellent speech. His message was very well received at Davos. His message was right on. In short, he explained to us that France is back, and that's a welcome news for all of us. From an economic standpoint, Emmanuel Macron showed again that he's a pro-businessman. He understands the economy, and he is doing a really good job at attracting foreign investors to France.
Well, on that point, he has made a lot of effort to make the point that France is now open for business and that it is, in fact, and can be an easy place to do business. Do you think he's succeeding? Are you hearing of more businesses that want to set up in France because of the reforms that the French president is enacting?
Yeah, absolutely. The reforms are there. His message is very clear, consistently repeated. Everything he executes is very clear. And we can see that here in Davos, but more importantly, outside Davos, when we travel abroad, the perception is completely different. The tone has changed, and it's a welcome change again. Foreign investors are looking at France as a key country to invest across Europe, in particular in continental Europe.
Now, we might be expecting a very different speech from Donald Trump tomorrow. What are you hoping or perhaps expecting to hear?
Yeah. You made the point about America's first. President Macron insisted on cooperation between states, the importance of free trade. And if we see more of protectionism, that is going to create an issue. If you want to have value creation that does not result in accentuated inequalities. So that's very important to find, as you said before, a balance between value creation, and the tax reform is probably welcome in that direction, but fairness is very important for the sustainable and long-term growth and less geopolitical tensions across countries.
Now, your firm has done a survey showing quite a lot of optimism among businesses about the future, but also uncertainty about what changing technology could mean to them. Do you see more risks or opportunities in the changing technology?
Well, of course, the two go together. There are threats, and some people are probably somewhat uncomfortable with all those technological changes. What we refer to as Industry 4.0 is essentially a very simple thing. That's the integration of the digital world into the physical world. And the new technologies such as AI, artificial intelligence, cognitive technologies, IoT, Internet of Objects, all those create many opportunities for the businesses, for the business leader to transform their businesses. It also does have an impact on the future of work, and that's an issue that we need to address. It means that business leaders need to embrace the technology, the technological change, but making sure they upgrade the skills of the workforce, they train their people all lifelong. That's very important. So it does create opportunities. There are threats as well. You talk about optimism. There is a paradox there because 87% of the business leaders are absolutely optimistic in that means that they believe that those technological changes are going to create opportunities for them, for their businesses, and for the society at large. Having said that, only 14% of them believe that they are ready to harness the benefits of those technological changes.
All right, much ahead there to discuss. Sami Rahal, thank you so much for joining us on France 24. We've just got time for a quick check of the markets. The Asian markets are mostly lower this Thursday. The Nikkei down over 1%, just the Kospi in the green there. The dollar also weak after dropping to a 3-year low earlier on. I'll be back later on with the opening bell for the European markets and all the latest from Davos coming up throughout the day.
OK, Kate, thanks very much for that. Our business editor, Kate Moody, reporting from Davos there.